Welcome to Master the Game. I am Juice. I'm here once again with Paula, the number 2 behind me in this competition. And today we are talking about space. So let's get started. So today we're talking about space. Do you want to take this one first since I took the last one?
Did you take the last one?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure I did. I take them for taking it most of the time.
I'm losing track.
You are losing. But not track. It's kind of like getting lost in space, you know?
So, I think you should go first.
She doesn't know what she's talking about.
No. I know what I'm going to talk about. Well, I'm flip-flopping between a couple different ideas on what I want to talk about. So I feel like I really need some additional time to solidify this is exactly what I want to talk about.
All right.
I want it to be perfect.
She's going to keep kicking the table.
Sorry.
And then the sound's going to pick up her feet noise. So, this is our first time, by the way, filming in the game room today. Technically, we just did the video for first, and that was done in here without the light. Now we're using the light. We're still on the cell phone. Still got to sort out some things. But anyways, so
we're still working on the space.
Well, that's what I was getting at. So, since we are in the game space, that's what I'm going to talk about. So, this is something that I've wanted for years. This goes back to when we first lived in Grand Rapids the first time in our yellow house. Very ugly yellow house. Very tacky. But it was a cheap, affordable first house for us. It was great.
Yeah.
But in that house, I had a room upstairs until we had a second child. And then... Yeah, that's what wasn't that what happened?
No, it was
Caleb.
It was your office.
Nope, you wanted a nursery for Caleb, so we moved me to the basement. So I had a space, and it was great. It was just my desk, and that's all I needed. And I think I had her desk behind me in there. We had 2 desks in one room. It was a long, narrow bedroom. And I had a lot of fun in there. In fact, a lot of my earlier videos, you can see from that space. And so anyway, so then I got moved to the basement. And the basement was kind of interesting because we moved my desk down there. And so I had to put my Michigan flag up because otherwise, if the Michigan flag wasn't there, I could stare at a toilet. Because the basement had a toilet.
So it was just because it had one bathroom, right? And it was an old house. It was 1920s, right?
Something.
And so there was no second bathroom. And so I think their solution for a second bathroom was we'll just put a toilet in the middle of the basement, for
right next to the furnace.
Purposes. And you know what? We used that a couple times, in emergencies when you have a young child who is potty training, right? It was right next to the back door too. So she was out playing and then she's like, "Oh my gosh, I gotta go to the bathroom." There is no way she's going to make it all the way into the house.
And you had to run around the house to get to the stairs to go up.
Yeah, so we used it a couple times, but yeah, it probably wasn't.
Oh, I used it a few times too.
Probably wasn't the nicest space.
It was fine. But the funny thing is, I used to joke with the provokers that one day if I had to use the bathroom, I was just going to turn the camera around and just use the bathroom while streaming the game. I didn't do that, but that would have been funny. But no, that was a unique space. But I actually enjoyed the basement. It was one of the few times I could get away, legit get away from the kids, from barging in and stuff. Because you'll see sometimes in older videos too, my daughter would just pop right in, which is kind of like my son right now. But
we
anyways,
also didn't have air conditioning either. So
no,
it was nice and cool in there.
Yes, it was. That house was pretty cool in general. But
yeah.
Other than for a week out of the year. But it was cold in the winter. But then we moved back to Saline. And so when we looked at this house in Saline, I fell in love. I mean, it was not only did it have decent finishes that she liked, but it had spaces. It had a full basement, like living room space for me, enough for like this couch, TV, entertainment center, my gaming table, and then I still had an office, and she still had an office, and it had 2 bathrooms, one right outside of my office down there. So that was kind of nice. Now, when we were gaming, if people had used the bathroom, you could hear everything. So that was a little weird. But, and we used to tease people sometimes.
It was a very echoey bathroom.
Yeah, that too.
That's the problem, like, because it was all...
Because of the basement.
Yeah, it was all, like, they put ceramic
had drop-down
tile
ceilings,
up on
they're
the
plastic.
walls, and, yeah.
Yeah, it had, like, wood laminate flooring that was on the walls, like, interlocking. But, yeah, and so that was a cool space. And that office was where I did, like, all my filming, because if I didn't, it echoed a lot. However, I didn't have a lot of room. In fact, I had this much room right here that we're working with in this corner of this room. This house we bought, we had to finish this space, which I'm not the best. I'm not very patient with this stuff. However, I'm very happy with how it came out, flaws and all. But it's so big. The echo you're picking up here is without soundproofing, without me putting everything away and getting things up that I want to. So I'm pretty happy with it. And the table, you can easily fit 4, maybe, yeah, I'd say 4 people just on this couch to play on this table. And then I could sit there, and if we needed room, we could slide someone at the end if we wanted to. Like, there's a lot of things we can do in here, you know, to game, to film, to do whatever. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah.
And this is probably the best gaming space I've ever had, minus the fact there's no air conditioning and no bathroom nearby.
So this room, though, is also on the other side of the garage. So you have this room, then you have the garage, then you have the house. So you kind of get, like, additional, like, space away from whatever is going on, you know. So especially with us having the 3 kids, like, if the kids are sleeping, you can put the kids to sleep. You can come out here and you could, you know,
be as loud as we want.
Yeah,
have
like,
drinks and have your loud, boisterous friend in the corner making penis jokes.
And nobody would hear you in the house. And there is, like, the garage itself is, like, insulated and everything like that.
And has heating, so in the winter. It
has its own furnace and stuff, so it
has an air conditioner, but a window unit.
It'll keep warm during the winter if you need it, but it's kind of more...
And I'll pull some
like
space heaters in
3
here.
Seasons, you know, sort of style, but it should do just a little bit better than what, like, a 3 Seasons porch would do, because it has more insulation and stuff.
And who knows? I mean, so on the other side of this wall is another 5 feet over, and then it's this whole length, which is like 14 feet. So if things are going well in a year or two, who knows? Maybe we put a little tiny used heater in here or something, or air conditioner, or depending on how things are going.
You could always, like, cut through the wall and put, like, a air conditioning unit, like one of those ones that goes up on the top, you know, the corners or whatever.
I could do that. They have those really small air conditioning units too for, like, tiny places like this too.
Oh yeah.
But if I could get one used,
yeah,
you know, put on, like, the back of the house, boom, right there.
Yeah, or, like, just the units that are, like, the heating and the air conditioning in one.
Yeah, it's not, I mean, it's a 22
should be fine,
by
though.
13 and a half space.
Yeah. And I mean, it's insulated and everything like that, so it should be good.
Yep, so it'd be awesome. Yeah. So that's what I had to say about my gaming space. I'm really excited about this. Still got to decorate. Eventually there'll be something right behind me. We're not sure yet. I think a D&D flag would be cool. I think that'd be awesome right behind me.
Maybe, like, we could get, like, a plain, like, tapestry and get, like, D20 stamps.
That'd be cool.
Make our own, like, stamps.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Right.
Well, I don't know if our craftsmanship would look that good on it, though.
Mine.
This is why she's going to do the resin top.
I will do
or
it.
Acrylic or what it was.
Yeah, I said we should do resin top on the
and then,
gaming
like,
table.
my logo and then a clear coat on top of it. That'd be cool.
Because at the same time, then we could do the top of the table in the dinette, too, because we need to do that table top.
That would be cool. You could do that one
both,
first.
Like, why first?
Because we want to get the kinks out first.
We
want to learn on yours
we're going to
first.
mess up the one on the game table.
No, because that one's always
table.
That's not your real table. The dinette, come on.
That's a nice table, though.
Not really.
It is, like,
it's okay.
for that space.
Well, yeah, but it's a circle. That's it. We could easily get a new top for that if we really messed it up.
No.
It's always covered with a tablecloth anyway.
I know, because the top.
So it doesn't matter. So if you mess it up, somehow.
Then I just
But
put
see,
the tablecloth back on it?
Yeah. And it would still be better than what it looks like right now.
Okay,
Anyway.
this is so off topic.
No, it's great. We're talking about space.
Okay.
That table space in there, we could play games at too.
We could. We do with the kids. It's
Kinda.
like a built-in, like, dining, like, you know, like, it's like a built-in, like,
an
circle
eat-in nook.
booth, right? Like you have at, like,
Yeah,
a
like a
restaurant.
restaurant.
It's like a circle booth, but it's, like,
You put,
built
like,
in.
10 kids in it, or like 5 adults and a couple kids.
Yeah.
You can fit a lot of people at it.
It's like, it's a very unique house.
Yeah, it's a cool house. Cool space.
Interesting.
So what about you for space?
Okay,
What you got?
space. Okay, so I was thinking, like, space sort of maybe in relationship to miniatures while you're gaming.
Okay.
Right? So, I was not that big on miniatures.
So much has
Until you
changed
came
since you
along.
gamed with me.
I know. Okay, so I always played Theater of the Mind, right? Up until college. In college, there was a D&D group on campus. I tried to play with them a little bit. That didn't go so well. But they
We talked about that in that interview too.
Yeah, they had a whole bunch of miniatures that they used. I thought it was kind of like, you know, weird, whatever, it's fine. But I was just used to, like, Theater of the Mind and always mapping everything.
And having to be very specific about what you were looking at to search, or else it didn't count.
Right, and, well,
I'm just heckling.
yeah, whatever. So that's just kind of what I was used to. So when I ended up getting him into D&D, he really jumped on, like, the miniature train. And I had...
Kinda. So Goblin Bay, an old YouTube channel, he sent me a bunch of Mage Knight figures. And then shortly after that, like, we had moved to Grand Rapids, then Brad Smith he's got a painting channel, like Devious Dungeon Denizens or something. And he sent me a bunch of miniatures.
So I think the first time we ever played with miniatures was with Nate, right? When Nate came over.
Yeah, because that's
remember,
around
it was
the time
just
Brad
him
sent
and
me
I,
stuff.
right? Playing.
Me, you, and him, yeah.
Yeah. So it was just...
Because we had a no-show from our third player.
Yeah.
And he never showed.
He never
called,
he
didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And then later said he fell asleep and slept the whole time or something, which didn't make sense.
It's weird.
Because that's not his character. But anyways.
Anyway, so Nate was over, and that was like the first time I had really, really used miniatures, I think, because I had painted, right?
But I made terrain for it, made it mine. Yep.
Yeah, so at first I thought it was kind of like, this is kind of stupid, right? Like, I'm not sure how I feel about this, because it's just kind of weird, like, oh, now I'm going to move my guy. Okay, now I'm moving over here. And I thought it was really annoying. Now, I really like it in the fact that, especially as a spellcaster, it is so much more convenient to figure out exactly what you're going to do, because you can tell exactly how everything is spaced out. Which is like, if you were actually there, you would know. You don't have to ask, like, oh, well, I'm going to put it in a way in which, you know, this, like, you know, AoE spell is just going to encompass the largest group of monsters. Like, you know, and that's kind of dumb, right? It's
but
just
you don't come from
better
a yes DM. You come from a DM who, if he wants a difficult encounter, he'll tell you, nope, you're not in space. Or, oh, no, you hit one, the other three were out of range.
No, that's not true. I mean, but, like,
I know.
because most of the games I played were not...
Well, most times you were ranked or rogue.
Yeah, but most of the times I played, it was not with.
Oh, I got you.
You know?
Yeah.
So, anyway,
You played with some dorks then. Some nerds.
Did. We did some stupid stuff. We did that.
Doing these videos, I'm going to learn a lot about your gaming past, and now I'm going to know all your secrets.
I don't know any of my secrets.
I'll finally know more about D&D than you. Because you know all the D&D.
Shut up.
She knows all the D&D.
You keep it up. I'm going to need some space from you.
I feel very attacked.
So, anyway, I like miniatures kind of had to, like,
There's no arguments about range or anything like that.
Yeah.
It makes combat.
It's nice, and it's nice spatially that you know exactly where would my character actually be. Mm-hmm. Not like, oh, how far am I away from this object? Can I get there? Like, all of that stuff just, like, slows down gameplay.
Right. And we don't always use miniatures. Like, we've had combats even in our games where we just haven't pulled out miniatures.
Right, because it's just not worth it.
Right. Like, it's a single snake. For example, in that game, we started with a snake. I don't even think we used miniatures for that encounter. I had a miniature out and was ready to use it, but I think I just said, oh, you come across a snake, what do you do?
Or if it's, like, if it's an open area... And it's like, oh, you know, you're in an open environment and you come across something, like wandering outside or something like that, then it's like, it's not...
Or a tavern brawl.
It's not worth it, yeah.
Like that whole session with, like, Jordan and them.
Yeah.
I didn't pull out miniatures for your bar brawl and stuff.
No. I mean, because you would have been, like, close to, you know...
One, I didn't pull out the miniatures for a tavern brawl. So I didn't have a bunch of dwarves.
You also weren't expecting us to get into a tavern brawl.
You mean him?
Yes.
You guys hadn't met yet.
True. I just sat at a table the whole time.
Yeah, I think
I'm pretty sure I actually just watched it happen, too. It's great.
And our 19 strength orc with, like, 8 charisma bard.
Yeah, that was cool.
Tried to... break the fight up or something? Yeah, anyways. It was funny, but it was weird.
Nobody knows what's happening.
Yeah, it was funny.
But yeah, I mean, so I feel like it's like, I don't know. I'm getting more used to it. And I do find it significantly more convenient, especially with, like, spellcasters.
You also used to be very adamant about, no, I don't like miniatures. Let's not get miniatures. Let's not worry about miniatures.
Okay, well, they're also, like, stupid expensive. Like, this is...
Some can be, yeah.
The other thing we can talk about space is how much space your obsession with collecting shit is taking up in
what are you talking about?
Our lives. When we moved, we have, like, you know, 6 boxes of stuff for the kitchen... Right, I've got like 3 boxes that are big for, like, you know.
You're a minimalist though.
I have like
want things. You want a tiny house.
Stuff, and like I have like paint and like art supplies and craft supplies for the kids, and just like all sorts of stuff. You know, we have a couple boxes of books, and then comes his stuff, and his stuff is not like just like his clothes. But he had 25 book boxes worth of stuff. Like,
I didn't have 25. I think it was like 14.
It was like, yeah, but then you had all the medium-sized boxes, too.
Well, yeah. I had a bunch of those.
And then we had a bunch of boxes of miniatures. Then there's boxes of terrain. And the whole time he's like, oh, my God, they're going to crush my terrain.
You're talking about gamers.
They're going to crush my miniatures.
They did ruin stuff, though.
I was like, well, what do you want? Like, you dumped them all into one box.
No, you told me to do that. You told me to do that. You said, put a pillow in it. It'll be fine. And I was like, it's going to get broken. I know
that's after you said you were going to just dump them into a box.
No, I was going to leave them in the current thing, and I was going to saran wrap it all shut.
Yeah, but that...
And then you're like, they're going to break that way. And that probably would have been the best way to do it, even though the top of the metal part got bent.
Anyway, like, his books and, like, terrain and miniatures and stuff like that took up more space than all of our kitchen stuff. Mm-hmm. All the, like, art supplies and craft stuff that I have along with the kitchen stuff.
But half that craft supply stuff is mine for terrain, too.
No, it's not.
Some of it.
It was all my paint from art school.
You gave me all your paint from art school for painting miniatures.
Yeah,
but used it for painting miniatures.
I know, but they ended up in with my art
and
supplies.
Half that, and most of that paint I bought, the regular acrylic round bottles, you had the squeeze containers, which weren't very many. Remember, they used to be in the wood thing. They just fit in that wood thing.
Yeah. Some of them you thought. Right. A lot of paint I get from work. So I work for, like, arts and craft supply distributor. And so vendors come in and we have meetings. I actually have a bunch of paintbrushes that I got at work.
By the way, miniatures might be expensive, but things like smoking and drinking beer and all that's way more expensive. And I don't do that stuff. So, you know, really, I'm saving us money. This is Master the Game. I am Juice. This is Paula. Be sure to let us know in the comments below who had the better story, who was funnier, who you agree with more, And in a later video, we're going to do a Paula reacts to the comments video. Because I think that'll be a lot of fun. And at the end of the month, we'll tell you guys who won and who tended to... Yeah, we'll just do a whole poll. We'll just do it on Twitter. How about that? We'll do a poll on Twitter or Facebook. Or both. And then add it up. So you can vote twice, technically. If you're on both. But that's okay. All right. So anyways, Juce, Paula.
Space.
RPGaDay 2019. Game on.